This clip just went viral where this woman admits to harassing her grandpa for watching a movie. Now, according to her, it was a sexist movie and he shouldn't have been watching it. So because of this, she asked him to turn the movie off and have a chat with her about sexism. Alright, so obviously the grandpa does not care and he says to her, "Why do you care what I do? You shouldn't be upset by other people's actions." So she decides to relentlessly harass this old man by doing nonsensical things like blasting loud music in the house and taking his car and parking it outside the garage.
My grandpa was watching a sexist movie last night, and I asked him to turn it off so that I could talk to him about how and why it was sexist and why I didn't want him to watch it in front of me. He told me that I shouldn't be upset about other people's actions. Okay, so you know what? I backed his car out of the garage, and I'm not gonna put it back in.
Okay, so right off the bat, this pisses me off so much because what actually qualifies as sexist to you? I mean, if you really want to, you can pretty much interpret any piece of media as sexist. Like, take Hollywood just casting like pretty girls as main characters. Is that sexist or is that what people want to watch? Now, the problem is that this girl didn't even say what the movie actually was, and I'm almost certain why. Because if she actually said the name of the movie, she would probably be laughed off the internet because chances are it's not sexist. I'm just gonna take a wild guess that it's some old school random movie that everybody actually loves. And the fact that you just got so upset over a piece of content that your grandpa is enjoying just speaks volumes about your character. Not to mention that you are in his house. You're a full-grown woman sitting in your grandfather's house and you're telling him in his house what he can and can't watch. How ridiculous is that? Listen, I don't want to speak for grandpa or anything, but if I were him, I would literally kick you out the house as fast as possible. Imagine actually being 70 years old. It's like the last 10 years of your entire life, and you're spending it getting badgered by this ridiculous feminist granddaughter.
I'm not gonna put it back in. As my action, I'm gonna leave it out there and I'm gonna see if it bothers him. And you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play Hot Girl Bummer, and I'm gonna play that as loud as I want, whenever I want, at whatever time of day I want. Does that affect you?
What kind of an actual petty, pathetic person actually does this, going out of your way to harass an old man? And not even for anything significant, he just watched a movie that you didn't like. It's a completely different story if he's like forcing you to watch that movie, but he's just enjoying it himself. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, I'm sure some old school movies might have like some sexist tropes or something, but honestly, if he enjoys it, what's the problem? Like, it's not really gonna affect your life in any way. He's not like passing down those values to any grandchildren or something like that. You really think a 70-year-old gives a flying shit about your new age feminism? When did the definition of feminism turn into harassing your grandfather by blasting loud music in the house? I still can't get over that, by the way. You're in his house. You're a full-grown adult living in his house, and you still have the audacity to complain? Be grateful he's giving you a place to live. He's already done his job like 4 times over. He's 70 years old. At this point, you should be living on your own, yet you're lecturing him in his own house.
Does that affect you? Oh, and now I can't live here, so that's fun.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I call sweet karma coming home. Let me get this straight, okay? You harass your grandpa for watching a movie that you deem as sexist. Not confirmed, by the way. You just her definition of sexist, which could pretty much be anything. Then you sort of mess with his car to like obnoxiously prove a point. And then you play like loud music in the house so that he can't even watch the movie in peace. And you're shocked that the owner of the house actually kicked you out. Are you kidding me? I've never seen this much cognitive dissonance in my entire life. Maybe while you're house searching, you'll learn to not harass the elderly. What the fuck? Now listen, I wanted to see if there were like any updates to the situation, so I went over to her TikTok and I found some of her responses to this situation. Basically, the commenter is just calling her a hypocrite for harassing the man, and this is her response.
Is everybody agreeing with the idea that our actions and words don't affect others? Why y'all so mad? It was just a TikTok video. You didn't have to watch it. You didn't have to comment. You could have just kept scrolling. But you chose to speak up and say something. Just like I did. So like, if you really don't think your words and actions affect other people, why did you waste your time commenting? y'all do know that you proved my point. Like, you proved it.
Listen, obviously, yes, your actions and words affect other people. If I go ahead and punch a stranger in the face, that is an action I committed, and it's affecting the stranger, obviously. If I go call them a dickhead, their day is probably ruined. It's affecting them. Now, the problem is that the grandpa's actions in that scenario actually had no bearing on your life whatsoever. You actually made the executive decision to get offended by what he was watching. It was nothing related to what he was saying or anything. It was just him watching and enjoying a movie. Now, if he starts speaking a bunch of, like, I don't know, maybe he adopts some misogynistic stuff from a movie he's watching or something, and then he starts passing that on to you, or he starts talking like that, then okay, you could possibly justifiably get mad. But for a guy enjoying a movie, this is just ridiculous. Actually, even then, he's kind of just allowed to do whatever he wants because he's doing it in his house. And if you don't agree with what he's doing, you can leave and you can get kicked out, all right? That's just fair game. Now, I still don't trust the word of this person saying that the movie is sexist until you actually provide me with a name. I'm just gonna assume you're overreacting because clearly you have a tendency to overreact. Now, after taking a little scroll through a TikTok, I am absolutely astonished. I was spot on the money. This is one of those fat-phobic people. Oh my god, they are everywhere. So this person says, just work on weight loss. It sucks, but it's better than an early grave. And honestly, it's a pretty valid point. It's not like mean-spirited in any way. Take a look at a response.
Wow, is the comment section just full of misinformation. So I will eventually make a video addressing how the pursuit of weight loss leads to weight cycling, which ultimately results in gaining all of the weight back, in addition to a bunch of new health issues. So before you leave a comment on my page, please do your research, because this is ridiculous.
He's literally trying to help you, and you have the audacity to say that weight loss is completely pointless? Are you saying that nobody in the history of the entire world has ever successfully lost weight in their entire life? They just always end up gaining it back? That makes no sense at all. You do realize what you're saying, right? I don't think these people genuinely actually believe what they're saying. I feel like it's just sort of this excuse their brain just cooks up to avoid doing any sort of work or take any sort of accountability for their life, because if weight loss is impossible, then why try, right? You do realize that it's not supposed to be this like 1 3-month diet and then you never healthily eat, you never exercise ever again. That's like a short-term thing, and people who do that will gain the weight back. It's supposed to be like a habit, a lifestyle, something you incorporate the rest of your life. And don't get me wrong, it's extremely hard, okay? Most people just can't do it. It's super hard, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Honestly, this whole situation just kind of sickened me because there's people out there who genuinely want to spend like quality time with their grandparents and they really miss them, but you know, they can't spend time with them because they've passed away. And here you are harassing your man in the last moments of his life. You just can't be treating the elderly like this. It doesn't matter what values you believe or you think he shouldn't be watching that. This is no way to treat an old man. Anyways, guys, go spend time with your grandparents. Tell them you love them. Click this video. Bye bye.